So you've been dreaming about trading the snow shovel for sandals and moving to the Gulf Coast of Florida. But here's the one question in the back of your mind that you just can't shake. Can I actually afford it? Everybody assumes that Florida is cheap because there's no state income tax. And part of that is true, but the full picture is a little more layered than that. Some things here will genuinely save you money, and a couple might surprise you. So if you're thinking about making a move to Venice and you want to know the real, honest breakdown of what it actually costs to live here, not a sugar-coated sales pitch, then this video is for you. Hi friends, I'm Bethany Behrmann with the Behrmann Group at Real Broker. And on this channel, I cover everything that you need to know about living in and moving to Venice, Sarasota, and the surrounding areas. If you're planning a move to the Gulf Coast, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss anything. I talk to people relocating here every single week. Those coming from up north, out west, and all over. And the cost of living is almost always the very first thing on their mind. So I want to give you the straight answer. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through 6 of the biggest pieces of the cost of living puzzle here in Venice. Housing, property taxes, home insurance, utilities, groceries, and everyday expenses, and then the famous no state income tax benefit that everyone talks about. By the end, you'll have a realistic idea about what your monthly budget could actually look like down here. Quick note before we dive in, this is general information to help you plan, not legal, tax, or financial advice. The exact numbers will depend on your situation, so always check with a professional for your specific case. Let's get into it. Number 1, and this one's a big one, housing. Housing is far and away the largest piece of your budget here, and it's the main reason Venice sits a bit higher than the national average for cost of living overall. When you look at single-family homes across all of Venice, the average price is sitting around $564,000. But where you land on the map makes the massive difference. Entry-level single-family homes, you can still find options starting in the low 300s. Wellen Park, on the other hand, the average for single-family home climbs to about $750,000. And on Venice Island, if you're looking at that, the average single-family home jumps up to $1,063,000. So while the pandemic era frenzy has definitely cooled down, location completely dictates your price point. And we'll dive even deeper into those neighborhood breakdowns in a future video. So why does that matter to you? Because if you were priced out a couple years ago, it's worth taking another look. Buyers have a little more breathing room and a little more negotiating power than they did at the peak. Now, if renting is your plan while you get to know the area, which by the way, I always recommend if you're not 100% sure where you want to land, this is what we did. You're generally looking at somewhere in the ballpark of $2,000 to $4,000 a month, depending on the community and how new the home build is. Number 2, property taxes. Here in Sarasota County, the effective property tax rate runs right around 1% of your home's value. And the typical annual tax bill lands anywhere in the neighborhood of $500,000. Now that number climbs if you're in a higher priced home or a newer community. So keep that in mind. But here's where it matters. And here's the good news for a lot of you. If Venice becomes your permanent home, Florida's Homestead exemption can knock a meaningful chunk off your taxable value. And there's something called the Save Our Homes cap that limits how much your assessed value can go up each year once you're homesteaded. So your taxes stay predictable year over year. For those coming from high tax states up north, this one can be a genuine relief. Number 3, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this one, home insurance. This is the line item that catches a lot of newcomers off guard. Because we're on the Gulf Coast, insurance runs higher here than the national average. In Sarasota County, you could be looking somewhere around $4,500 to $5,000 a year for a typical single-family home versus a statewide average that's a bit lower. Now, here's the so what, and it's actually encouraging. Rates in our area have started coming down over the past year, dropping close to 9%, thanks to some recent reforms and more insurance companies competing for your business again. So the trend is finally moving in the right direction. And here's my practical tip. Newer homes with updated roofs, and homes built to current storm codes almost always insure for a lot less. So when you're shopping, that construction date and roof age, they matter to your wallet way more than most people realize. Number 4, utilities. Utilities here run a touch above the national average, mostly because of one thing that you can probably guess: air conditioning. In the summer, that AC is running around the clock, and it's the biggest driver of your electric bill from June till September. What does that mean for you? Budget a little extra for the warm months, and don't be shocked when the summer bill is higher than the winter one. The upside? Our winters barely need heating at all. So while your friends up north are cranking up the furnace and watching their gas bills climb, you're opening the windows. It kind of balances out over the year. Number 5, groceries, healthcare, and getting around. Here's some reassuring news. On the everyday stuff, groceries, healthcare, transportation, Venice is pretty close to the national average. Groceries and healthcare each land just slightly above. Getting around town is right in line with what you're used to. What does that matter? Because it means your day-to-day spending, your grocery run, your doctor's visits, filling up the tank isn't going to feel dramatically different from where you live right now. The place where Venice costs more is really concentrated in housing and insurance. Once you've got those two things sorted, the rest of the monthly budget feels pretty familiar. And finally, number 6, the big one everyone's heard about. Florida has no state income tax. This is real, and it's a genuine advantage. Whatever you earn, whether that's a paycheck, self-employment income, or retirement distributions, Florida doesn't take a state cut of it. On top of that, Florida doesn't tax Social Security benefits, and there's no state estate or inheritance tax either. So why does this matter so much? Because for a lot of people, especially retirees or anyone coming from a high-income state tax like New York, New Jersey, Illinois, or California, the money you save on state income tax can genuinely help offset those higher insurance and housing costs that we just talked about. When people tell me the math actually worked out better than I expected, this is usually the reason why. If you want my honest take, if I were relocating here and trying to get the most for my money, I would seriously look at one of the newer communities out toward Wellen Park or up around Lakewood Ranch. Here's my reasoning. Newer construction means lower insurance premiums, more efficient homes that keep the summer utility bills down, and modern layouts. So you're spending smarter across the board, not just on the sticker price of the house. That's where I see buyers getting a real long-term value right now. So what's the big takeaway here? Venice does sit above the national average a little bit, but the cost is really concentrated in 2 places: housing and insurance. Almost everything else, your groceries, your utilities, your day-to-day life is right around normal. And when you factor in no state income tax, no tax on Social Security, and those homestead protections, a whole lot of people find that the numbers work out better than they feared. It's not the cheapest place in Florida, but for the Gulf Coast lifestyle that you're getting, a lot of people say it's absolutely worth it. If you're working through these numbers for your own move and you want help running the real figures for your situation, reach out anytime. My info's in the description below, or you can scan the QR code in the banner. I would genuinely love to help you make a smart, confident decision. And if this video was helpful, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel reach more people planning their move. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me which one surprised you the most. Was it the insurance? Was it the no income tax savings? Or something else? I read every single comment. Now that you've got a real handle on what it costs to live here, the very next thing you'll want to understand is the difference in the cost of living and housing prices on Venice Island versus the mainland, so that you can figure out exactly where your money goes furthest. You should watch this next video. It'll continue to help you with your search. I'll see you there.